Yeah, never mind, Juniper, I got it. Don't you worry about it. Anyway, the next mom that's coming on is an incredibly good friend of mine. In fact, she was my first friend. She's freaking awesome. She's incredibly funny. She's probably the best yoga instructor in town. And I owe her big time because I put her sort of last in the show. And she's like, seriously, Beth? Seriously? So anyway, I would like to introduce my very good friend, Denyse Robinson. Hey.
So I pretty much learned very little in the last 13 years that I've been a mother. I feel like I should have learned a little more than I have. But I have learned two things. And that is, there's two types of children. It boils down to just two types. You have your low maintenance child, pretty much chill, you know, they'll kind of like go with the flow. And then you have your high maintenance child. And pretty much everything is wrong all the time. Everything's an issue. Everything's a struggle. So does anybody have one of those? So by divine intervention, my first child is the low maintenance child, chill dill. Second child, high maintenance child, HMC, AKA Tegan. Every moment of every day, something's wrong. So of course, this story is more about him. So we're gonna move back in time, about 2015. He's about 7, 8, something like that. I don't remember. But we're on our annual pilgrimage, a couple thousand miles west, for the holidays. It's the holidays, let's travel. Let's take all of our stuff, pack it as tightly as we can, put all our ski gear in every orifice of every bag we own, put it in extra size bagging check, pay extra money for it, and let's fly when it's really, really expensive. So we do that every year. We go to Colorado. So we make our way to Colorado. It's a long trip. We leave about like 3 a.m. and we arrive about 3 a.m. and everybody's pretty much toast. We get there and we arrive in a little suburban town called Lakewood, Colorado. This is where we go. This is where my mother-in-law resides, and she lives in a very suburban neighborhood. And a lot of suburban neighborhoods in the area, they have the upstairs, which is where most people live, and then downstairs is a finished basement where there's, you know, everything you need. Ping pong tables, foosballs, you know, all that kind of stuff. This is important to the story because not only downstairs are there all the gaming and whatnot, but there's also a hot air furnace which blows intense hot air 24/7. Okay, so we're in Colorado, we're in the middle of a drought, it's dry there anyway, and we have this forced air, this hot air just whipping through our bedroom, right? So, you know, we all wake up, we've got forked tongues, bloody noses, like, whatever, welcome to Colorado, this is normal. So, I'm thinking that this dry forced air has something to do with the fact that right around midnight, I'm awoken by my son screaming, "Mom, my butt itches." I'm like, seriously? Who could this be? Could it be the low maintenance child or the high maintenance child? Of course, high maintenance child, aka Tegan. Tegan, go back to sleep. No, Mom, no, really. My butt itches. I'm like, seriously, go in the bathroom, look for something, find something, do something. I can't. I get up, rifle through my purse. Here's my 3-ounce Lubriderm. I hand it to him. Go ahead. Use the Lubriderm, you're gonna be fine. Not really working, Mom. I'm like, just go back to sleep. We spent a couple hours doing this kind of thing. Finally, he goes back to sleep. We go through the whole next day, vacationing, driving to all 4 corners, of the Southwest, because we gotta make this trip special. And so we do all our stuff. Never a mention of an itchy butt. All day. Full day, go to bed, go to sleep, take our time going to sleep. I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Mom, my butt itches. I'm like, dude, you got the Lubriderm. Use it. It's really not. I go in the room, and there's Tegan. Mom! My butt itches! I'm like, it's dry here. Of course your butt's gonna itch. Mine kinda itches. Like, seriously, buck up. But okay, I'll go look for something. So I go in the bathroom, guest bathroom. I'm rifling through, looking through the cupboards. What's this? Anti-itch Vagisil? That worked. He doesn't need to know what it is. So I go in the other room, close your eyes, Tegan, hold out your hand, and I squeeze out some Vagisil in his hand. And go ahead, put as much as you want in there. Go ahead, just quell it. I gotta sleep. Another couple hours pass. Meanwhile, Michael over here is, oh, what? Something's happening? Oh, yeah. So, anyway, fall back to sleep. Next day, we get up, we drive to the mountains, we ski. He's sitting in a car, sitting on a chairlift, falling. His pants are wet. Never a single complaint about his butt itching. I'm like, okay, it's over. We're good. Go to sleep that night. Wake up a couple hours later. Mom, my butt itches. I'm like, dude, you got the Lubriderm, you got the Vagisil. What more do you want from me? So we go through this whole routine. The next morning, I am like, man, maybe I need to go to the pharmacist or something because something's going down. So I go in and I explain the situation. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, we're from Maine. It's pretty humid. I guess it's super duper dry here. So his butt is seriously itching. And she's like, oh, right over there. And she points to the baby care section. I'm like, no. He's 7. She's like, no. The diaper cream really works. And I'm like, okay. Again, he doesn't need to know what it is. So I buy the Boudreaux's butt cream. We get the Lubriderm. We get the Vagisil. So that night, we're tripling it. Wiping it up. Come on, you're good to go. It doesn't really work. Mom, my butt itches. Oh my God. So the next day, my sister-in-law invites me to the pool. And we're sitting there and we're talking. And I love my sister-in-law. She's an amazing woman. She also happens to be a hypochondriac. A serious hypochondriac, to the point where she gets elective surgeries to remove organs. Seriously, it's a thing. So when I tell her this whole story, and I'm like, it's like a mystery, because all day he's totally fine. And then at night, he can't stop itching his butt. She's like, well, my friend's daughter had that. And, ended up being pinworms. And I'm like, pinworms? What are pinworms? Never heard of pinworms. So anyway, I'm like, okay, Susan, love you, but it's not pinworms. He's just got an itchy butt. That night, go home, same thing happens. We got the triple lube going, nothing's happening. I'm like, oh my God. So the next morning, I'm like, I guess I should Google what pinworms are. And I'm like, how do you get pinworms? Well, unfortunately, the way that you get pinworms is through fecal matter. So what happens is your child takes a dump, doesn't flush the toilet, doesn't wash their hands, and And then at some point during the day, puts the hand in the mouth. The fecal matter goes down through the digestive tract and eventually blossoms into pinworms, which then move through the crevice and into the toilet, and it just keeps cycling round and round and round. So I'm like, whoa, what do I do? Well, fortunately, it's super simple. You just go to the pharmacist, you get the over-the-counter stuff. And I get the over-the-counter stuff, and I'm like good to go, but she's like, you know, you really don't want to medicate without actually knowing that they have pinworms, because, you know, this is a different climate. And I'm like, well, how do you find that out? And she's like, well, they only come out at night. So what you gotta do in the middle of the night is creep in his room, pull down his pants, spread his cheeks, and shine a flashlight. Like, and what will I see? She's like, you'll know. So anyway, I'm to my mother and I'm like, Sally, do you have like a flashlight? She's like, oh, is the light out down there? No, I just need a flashlight. I'm good to go. So that night, I do all the things. I creep in, pull down the pants, spread the cheeks, flashlight, and there were pinworms. Hundreds of pinworms. Swarming toward me. Yeah. It was fun. So I basically force-fed him the medication. What I found out is that you can't just treat the one person. You have to treat the whole family because it's highly communicative. I'm like, highly communicative? They're going to talk? Or like, apparently, if his hand touches food and then touches you, you now may have the pinworms. So we get the medication, you got to take the stuff, you got to wait like a certain number of days, I think it's like 14 or something, and then you got to treat again for all the eggs. It's totally disgusting. So anyway, we do this thing, but for some reason, every couple of weeks, Tegan's waking up going, Mom, my butt itches, and I'm like, what the hell? Why? What is going on? And it's like this mystery that's going on for like a couple months, because, you know, he's a high-maintenance child, so it couldn't just be the one time. It had to cycle. So I'm asleep one night, and I hear this noise. And it's like a really familiar noise, but I can't really place what it is. And it's like, and I'm like, oh my God. I crawl under my bed and I look, is it like on? Did I leave my device on? Oh, no, it's off, shut, not that. I'm like, still hearing this noise. What the hell? So I get up out of bed and I like walk upstairs and I look in the low maintenance child's bedroom. Of course, he's asleep. And I go over to the high maintenance child's bedroom and of course it's empty. So I'm like walking through the house and I'm hearing this. And what the hell? Go in our bathroom, empty. So we close up half of our house in the winter because it's super duper cold. And I'm like, I can hear this in this like other room over here. So open up the door, open up the bathroom. And I see something that I can never unsee. And it's my high maintenance son, HMC, aka Tegan, in the bathroom with his underwear around his ankles and an electric toothbrush on high. And just the level of satisfaction in his face, I'm like, Tegan, what are you doing? He's like, oh, Mom, my butt itches so bad, it just feels so good. And I'm like, oh my God, you know how this is transmitted. What are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, well, I just wanted some more of that medication because it tastes just like sweet tarts. I'm like, oh my God! like sweet tarts. So this is one of, like the top 10 most traumatic moments of my life. And I really like to deal with my trauma. And one way that I do deal with my trauma, it's through the arts. And this particular trauma release will be through song. So I hope you can all release the trauma as well. Midnight, not a flush of the toilet. As my son washed his hands, he is smiling, feasting. In the starlight, the withered teepee collects at my feet.